A warm welcome to today's talk. It's Wednesday the 25th of August. Now, I don't think I've had as many comments on a video as we did yesterday on the FDA's full approval of the Pfizer vaccine. So I want to look into that a little more detail and do a bit of a critique. And there are questions I would have for the FDA. Let's just put it as simply as that. There's a question I've got. So we'll look at it now. Now, I started thinking off on this, looking at this article here from the British Medical Journal, published on the 23rd of August. So BMJ opinion. So it is opinion, but this is Peter Doshai, senior editor of the British Medical Journal. Now he says this: the FDA should demand adequate controlled studies with long-term follow-up and make data publicly available before granting full approval to COVID-19 vaccines. Interesting. Now, it seems he's concerned about adequate controlled studies, long-term follow-up, and data, almost suggesting here that the data is not all publicly available. So is this true? And we do find there are some justifications for his concern. Now, I'm being really careful in this video, only to say what is I've got evidence for. So just bear with it. It is a bit of a complicated one. So this here is the original Pfizer press release. So that's this one, Pfizer press release. Obviously, all the references are there for you. Now, this is from the 1st of April 2021. So this is the Pfizer press release on the original efficacy data of their Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. All there in its glorious detail if you want to read through that. So the vaccine basically is highly effective with a 91.3% vaccine efficacy is the suggestion there. And bear in mind, this is the 1st of April, before Delta times in virtually everywhere, certainly before Delta times in the United States, but 91.3% vaccine efficacy against preventing infection. But the data cutoff for that was the 13th of March. So this report here is clearly dealing with very early data, data that was cut off on the 13th of March 2021. So pretty early stuff. Immunity measured 7 days through up to 6 months after the second dose. So here we're seeing that the longevity appears to be 6 months. But remember, that was published on the 1st of April, and the data cutoff was the 13th of March. I know this is a bit complicated, but stick with it. Now, 6-monthly safety and efficacy vaccine data. This is published on the 28th of July. Now, that is this paper here, available here in preprint form. And again, it's all there. I've downloaded the PDF. You can download the PDF there. The full detail is actually there on that paper. So again, I think I'm only telling you what is in the literature here. So that's that study, that's the reference. Ongoing phase 3 COVID-19 vaccine trial. Now bear in mind, the press release was the 1st of April. That's the 1st of April. That was the press release. And this is published on the, this was published on the 28th of July. So April, May, June, July. So you'd expect 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'd expect 10 months follow-up data here, wouldn't you? Which would make sense for this this paper. Ongoing phase 3 COVID-19 vaccine trial. Good, absolutely. Vaccine effectiveness against COVID-19 was 91%. So they're still quoting the same efficacy figures here on the 28th of published on the 28th of July. As they were published on the 1st of April, but bear in mind that 1st of April bit was cut off on the 13th of March. And then we take a direct quote from, this is not from the abstract I've shown you, this is from the paper itself. The current report provides update efficacy analysis conducted on cases occurred up to the 13th of March 2021, which of course is the same as the original press release, and strangely enough, it's a 91.3 versus a 91% efficacy. It's basically the same efficacy data. So rather strange there that that full follow-up paper published on the 28th of July still had a cut-off date way back in March, the same as the 1st of April cut-off. But that same paper did acknowledge that the efficacy on average declines of around about 6% every 2 months, even by that paper standards. So you could argue that there's a lack of internal validity there, that it's almost contradicting itself, but it does appear to be, well, in my mind, it's certainly contradicting the previous press release of the 1st of April. Okay, so move forward to the 23rd of, was it the 23rd? This was published 23rd of August. Yeah, 23rd of August. The FDA's release. Now, obviously, this is a lot more time has passed now, so obviously we'd expect the data to be fully updated, as the FDA have done this massive full review of just about everything to give it full approval. So let's see what the latest data is. So that is from this here, FDA full approval. That's the link. Based on results from clinical trials, the vaccine was 91% effective against preventing COVID-19 disease. Oh dear. So we see that the data here apparently doesn't appear to have been updated from the 13th of March, despite this full approval granted by the FDA on the 23rd. So I wonder. I don't know. I don't want to put words into. Peter Dechai's mouth, but maybe that's what he was concerned about. That there should be adequate and data publicly available before granting full approval. Maybe this is part of his concern. So that is interesting. And again, I'm just trying to go completely off what is actually said here in the literature. I'm not giving you an opinion. This is just what this report says. So this is the FDA full approval here. And that's it. And there we see it. There we see it there. Based on the results of the clinical trial, the vaccine was 91% effective at preventing disease. And that sentence was published on the 23rd of August by the FDA as their FDA approval press release. Let me give you my opinion here. Sloppy at best. FDA, sloppy at best. So, question to the FDA here, what's the latest figure? What is the latest efficacy figure? Second question, why wasn't the latest efficacy figure published on your press release giving the information about full approval on the 23rd of August? Now, there's other aspects of this we could have looked at, but you can only look at one. We're just looking at one thing, so we'd get it right. Let's get this detail correct. So, 91% efficiency we see from the press release from the paper, and apparently reinforced by the FDA on the 23rd of August. Come on, FDA. Simply, in my view, FDA, not good enough. But let's go back to last week and the paper we reported on here by the CDC, published 18th of August. So that's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 5 days before the FDA published that questionable sentence. We looked at this at the time in great detail, of course. New York data, from memory, it was about 10.5 million people in this study. New York data, protection against infection, 25th of July. 25th of July in the United States, in the New York area, 97.8%. 97.8%. But we look at the August the 23rd press release from the FDA, and we see their sentence says 91% efficacy. So to me, 91% efficacy there, and 79.8% efficiency there. In fact, there it is. Let me just show you the whole thing so you know I'm not making this up. There's the whole thing there. That is that paper of the 18th of August. Yeah, here we see it in this paper here. The overall age-adjusted vaccine effectiveness against new COVID-19 cases for all adults declined from 91.7 to 79.8% during this time period. So read the full thing for yourself. Now, we have to balance this because we're talking about protection against infection here. Now, this same study, that one from the CDC, that did point out this. So age-adjusted effectiveness against hospitalisation was maintained. So that they said that ranged from 91.9% to 95.3%. So this is not talking about protection against hospitalisation. It's talking about protection against infection. Direct quotes: during May the 3rd to July the 25th, 2021, the overall age-adjusted vaccine effectiveness against new COVID-19 cases for all adults declined from 91 to 79.8%. So that's clear. But during the same period, the overall age effectiveness against hospitalisations was relatively stable, 91 to 95.3%. So direct quotes in case I've misinterpreted something. So that is pretty clear, really, I think. Now, moving on to more up-to-date data provided by Israel. So Israeli data here now. This is a Reuters report. Vaccine effectiveness in preventing both infections and symptomatic disease fell to 64% since the 6th of June. And of course, in Israel, they are now starting to give a lot of third doses. So Israeli data, 64% there. And if we just remind ourselves of what the FDA approval report said, published on the 23rd of August, yep, 91% effectiveness. Okay, I mean, this really is, it really is a bit sloppy, isn't it? I mean, Israel says Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is just 39% effective as Delta spreads, but it still prevents severe illness. So still preventing severe illness. We need vaccination, but it'd be good to have accurate data, and that data is from the 20th of June to the 17th of July. So interesting statement from Peter Deshaye there. We need a bit more data, and we need full public transparency. And to be quite honest, I expect FDA press releases to be up to date. I would expect that. Now, the reason people are concerned about this is justified, because let me just give you some information as I understand it. Now, I got this, I started off again from the British Medical Journal here, and did check the references. Now, this paper here is published by Fierce Pharma. You can read it for yourself. I've put the link there. I've no reason to assume it's inaccurate, but I can't actually validate its validity either. But the reason that a lot of people are concerned is this: that the data from here, that's from so the BMJ is quoting this source, and that is the source here. The Fierce Pharma is the source of this information. The company now predicts 2021 sales of $33.5 billion. I mean, we're dealing with money that's off the scale here. Pfizer and BioNTech now expect to deliver 2.1 billion doses of I haven't learned to say this word yet. Comirnaty, that's the new Pfizer BioNTech vaccine, how it's being marketed worldwide this year, and manufacture 3 billion. Wow. And we believe, according to this article actually tells us that the average price is about $15, or this or another article in that series. Now, I have no way of authenticating this.